guys, how's it going? Um, so I said I'm gonna start posting videos of like my random thoughts and what have yous, and I still want to move forward with doing that. So, of course, you guys don't have to watch or listen, but if you want to, you're welcome to. Today, I want to talk to you guys about your end goal version of yourself. So, end goal version of yourself is actually so important, I think, to figure out because if you don't necessarily know where you want to end up in life or like how you want to be known, like when your time comes and you pass away someday, like it'll happen to you, it happens to everyone, no one is immortal that I know of. Possible I missed something, but as far as the knowledge that I have available at my fingertips right now, nobody lives forever. So eventually, that time is going to come where you're no longer with us. And as maybe disturbing as it may be, I think it's very important to kind of consider like what things do you want to be known for when you go? What personality traits do you want to have? What hobbies do you want to have? What do you want to be doing with your free time? Who is around you? If there's people that you regularly hang out with that regularly make you miserable, and one of your end goals is to be happy, that those things probably are not like in line with each other. So really just figuring out those situations where you're at optimal conditions, like who's around you, what are you doing, what things are you focusing your energy on and your mind capacity on? And I think it's so important to think about stuff like that because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have no idea how to get there. Whereas if you have an end goal figured out, you can figure out everything going on with you right now and look at all of your characteristics and be like, okay, well, I'm a pretty strong artistic person and I like that, but I'm complaining all the time, which is something that a miserable person does, and I want to be happy, so that's got to go. The complaining has to stop. Like, you literally start to figure out how you need to build your foundation to get where you want to go once you figure out your end goal version of yourself. And I know it may sound silly, but honestly, doing exactly this for me was a giant catalyst for how I started, like, really hurling myself towards my personal growth and hurling myself towards healing my bitter roots and my unhealed traumas and my all of it, because I found that in my life there was a lot of things that I was carrying around in my day-to-day life that end goal version Tori wasn't necessarily even thinking about. So I'm not perfect. I still have a lot of work to do. But I am closer than I have ever been to my end goal version of myself. And I make an intentional effort every single day to get closer and closer to being that person. And, getting there is uncomfortable sometimes. I know sometimes people think of growth and they're like, oh, growth, it's so beautiful, it's so nice, it's happy, it's peaceful, it's light, I'm just on a yoga mat eating great and everything is just delightful. That's really not always the reality of growth though. And I want to like warn everybody about this because I don't know that I necessarily was warned before I started my growth journey that it was going to be the most uncomfortable, sometimes downright horrible experience of my life. You truly have to like look at yourself and look at yourself with a level of understanding and clarity that it's hard to even fathom because you have to be able to look at yourself and like see your flaws. And not only that, but take it a step further and see your flaws and decide, okay, I don't want to be that way anymore. I have to change it. So, doing something called shadow work, which is where you start working on like your unhealed traumas and your bitter roots, that is sometimes just downright horrendous. And unfortunately, as people, we develop this almost like emotional muscle memory to reactions. So I like to compare it to the one Office episode where you see all of the pranks that Jim has played on Dwight. And, you know, there's one about the nickels where he puts a bunch of nickels in the phone. So every time Dwight picks his phone up, there's like one or two more nickels in there and it gradually gets heavier. And then one day Jim takes them all out. So then Dwight hits himself in the face with the phone because he's used to having all of those nickels inside of his phone. And, you know, I think emotionally we do that too. If there's a situation where the very first time you experience it, it feels like the end of the world and it feels panicky and it feels like it flips you upside down, you're going to develop an emotional memory where you're more likely to react to that same way the next time the same situation comes, because your brain will go through its like database of brain whatever and be like, oh, I've done this before. How did we react? Oh, we panicked. Okay, well, we're about to panic again because that's what we did last time. So shadow work requires, you know, going through a lot of those emotional muscle memories that you've built up that may not be, you know, wonderful, that may even be toxic for some people, and deciding to rewrite them. And that comes with a lot of resistance from the body because your body's like, oh no, like, I'm used to panicking right now. It's fine. We can just panic. And you're like, well, no, we're trying to do away with the panicking. And your body's going to be like, does not compute. Let's panic. So, you know, as you start to go through this journey, if you decide to, if anybody's even watching still, I don't know if 7 minutes in, if I've been able to hold anyone's attention. But yeah, the shadow work part of, you know, growth and becoming who you want to be is extremely uncomfortable. And there's going to be days where you regress into old behaviors and you're gonna wanna be like self-loathing and beat yourself up and be like, why did I do that? I know better. And like, it's gonna happen. We're human. And it's going to be a very uncomfortable ride because reality of the situation is growth is uncomfortable. It really, really is. But once you're able to get through the uncomfortable periods and start reaping the benefits of growth, it is a journey that I would highly recommend for everybody. And my personal journey started with the question, who do I want to be? When my time is done and I have, you know, no more breaths left in me, who do I want to be? What do I want to be known for? And I thought about this feverishly for days, and eventually I haven't, you know, written it all down. Eventually I'm going to. It's all kind of in my brain somewhere. But when I write it down, you know, I'm really going to be as detailed as I possibly can, because if you don't put your full effort into a project like this, the only person you're hurting is yourself. I will not care whatsoever if you guys don't do this. I won't care whatsoever if nobody even watches this video. Like, all I'm trying to do is just kind of share my thoughts, and if you choose to utilize them, that's awesome. If it helps you, that's even more awesome. And if you say this is a bunch of woo-woo and I'm not doing it, that's fine too. So, yeah, I challenge everybody to do that. And like I said, I did want to set the expectation that if you choose to accept this mission or this assignment, or, you know, however you want to mentally refer to it, it's going to be uncomfortable at points. Because when you start thinking a lot about your end goal version of yourself, you look at your day-to-day self, and then sometimes you realize you're a lot farther off than you realized, which was the case for me. You know, I mostly thought, like, I'm a good person. I help people. Like, I wouldn't say I'm, like, perfect by any means, but, you know, I also didn't put a lot of thought into my flaws. And when I started doing that, I was like, oh, your girl got a real long way to go on this growth journey, okay? So I still encourage everybody to take it though. Even on the breakdown days and on the rough days and on the days where I just can't seem to like make a right decision to save my life and I can't seem to like get my head out of my own ass and quit doing these behaviors that I have already like told myself are behaviors I don't want to be doing anymore. On the days that I regress, on the days, for a lot of my own personal shadow work, I've had to work through a lot of very bad traumas. So, there was days where I would just get these like flashbacks and it was horrible. And I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. I want to stop. And thankfully I didn't. Thankfully I pressed through that because now I wake up a lot of days and genuinely I'm happier. I genuinely feel like I'm a better person, a better listener, a better partner, a better friend, a better sister, a better everything. Because the more you learn to love yourself and heal yourself and become who you want to be, the more clearly you'll be able to help those around you do the same. And that's kind of my mission right now. I know I went off on a real long tangent. Like I said, I have no idea if anybody's still listening. But if you are, cool. I'm happy you're here. Thanks for joining me in my PJs and my no makeup and, my acne. I'm not covering any of this up. These videos are always going to be whatever my authentic reality is. And right now, my authentic reality is I'm in sweats. I have no bra on. I'm in my pajamas. I don't have my makeup done. My acne's hanging out. My little, see that little doodad? That's fine. But whatever is my authentic truth, I'm going to be living it. I'm not going to be doing this with filters. If my cat happens to walk in front of the screen, I'm not even listening to this before I record it. Or before I post it. I'm not giving myself the opportunity to listen to my voice and be like, oh my God, my voice was so annoying at this one part. If it's annoying, so be it. If I talked in circles, so be it. This is my very first take of this video, and it's the one I'm going to be posting. And this is how I'm going to always do these videos. Because I think, frankly, the world needs to see a little bit of real. The world needs to sometimes just see people in their ugly clothes and with their face broken out and no filters. I'm being my authentic version of myself right now, and I'm okay with that. So yeah. Okay, well, I was just thinking on if I wanted to add anything else to this video, if there's any points I feel like I didn't make, and I don't know that I feel like there is, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here and go ahead and post it. To everybody who's still hanging, I love y'all. I love y'all big. And I hope you're all having a delightful day. I hope the day is kind to you. I hope whatever beverage you drink today tastes like magic. I hope your friends check in on you today. I hope you check in on your friends. Whatever having a little bit of light in your day looks like today, I hope you get that. And until next time, guys.